Floyd Mayweather, is he as rich as we think he is?
No.
So when we see the $1 million in the bag,
that money, light money. Like, he can get his hands on that.
Right. I need some of that light money then.
Yeah. He is who he is. You can't discredit who he is. Like, and again, I'll tell you, like, I don't mind, telling the truth in situations like this. Because, it's my brother. I love him.
Floyd Mayweather has made somewhere between $1 billion and $1.5 billion over the course of his boxing career. And right now, there are lawsuits, bounced checks, IRS liens, a canceled exhibition fight, and questions about his business relationships all circulating simultaneously. So the question the internet keeps coming back to is not whether he was rich. He was. The question is whether that money is still there, and whether the people around him helped protect it or helped drain it. Here is what the court documents and news reports actually show. A Miami jeweler filed a lawsuit alleging that Mayweather bought 27 watches and 15 chains, totaling $1.675 million, paid $300,000 toward the balance, and then 5 checks bounced. Separately, there is a lawsuit out of New York alleging he owes $330,000 in unpaid rent on a Manhattan penthouse. There is also a federal case in South Florida involving a reported $4 million jewelry dispute. The IRS has placed liens on him as well, which has been reported across multiple outlets. None of that is rumor. That is documented legal activity that is publicly available. Now, documented legal trouble does not automatically mean someone is broke. Athletes and wealthy people get sued all the time. But when you are looking at bounced checks on million-dollar jewelry purchases, IRS liens, unpaid rent on luxury real estate, and multiple simultaneous lawsuits, that is not a pattern that shows up in the finances of someone who is doing just fine. That context is what made everything that followed explode online. Rick Ross was on a live stream when someone sent him a message warning him not to manage his money the same way Mayweather supposedly does. He addressed it directly and made his position clear. He said he does not believe Floyd is broke. He called Floyd his little brother, told people not to trust the rumors or the articles, and said Floyd is worth more money than people can imagine. Then he went further. He said if Floyd ever needed $50 million for a major boxing event, specifically a fight against Gervonta Davis, he could make it happen and would book the Hard Rock Stadium himself. That is not a throwaway statement. That is a man putting a number on his confidence in someone else's commercial value. Ross also pushed back on something more specific. He said Floyd deserves every dollar he has ever made, and nobody should be judging how he spends it. He pointed out that Mayweather started training at 4 years old. Christmas Eve was not a holiday. It was 3-a-days. That kind of career sacrifice earns a man the right to spend without answering to the internet. His argument is simple. The man's name alone can still generate 9-figure opportunities. A broke man cannot do that. Then came 50 Cent. 50 and Floyd were once genuinely close. They were together regularly from around 2002, going to the boxing gym, hanging out, 50 spending so much time at Floyd's house that Floyd later said 50 basically lived there. They talked about going into business together in boxing, a 50-50 partnership in what would become TMT Promotions. But Floyd came home from a vacation and saw in the newspaper that TMT had already launched without him. The business partnership never happened. The friendship cooled, the public shots started, and they have been going back and forth ever since, in a way that has become one of the most reliable recurring narratives in sports and entertainment. So, when Floyd's financial situation started trending, 50 moved immediately. He posted to Instagram and addressed Floyd directly. He wrote that if Floyd needed money, he should just call, that they could have kept things from getting this messy, and that the feds were looking. He added that he was not mad at him anymore. The post was read a dozen different ways simultaneously: genuine concern from a former friend, calculated trolling, a subtle flex, or another chapter in a feud that never fully ended. 50 has always occupied that exact ambiguous space where you cannot tell where the joke ends and the real point begins. The Ross and 50 dynamic added another layer to everything. Those two have their own documented history: lawsuits, diss records, public jabs that go back well over a decade. Ross sued 50, 50 sued Ross. They've traded shots in interviews and social media for years. So when Ross stood up publicly for Floyd and 50 came in from the opposite angle, fans were not just watching a debate about Mayweather's finances. They were watching two men with their own unresolved rivalry use Floyd's situation as the latest battleground. Ross said 50 does not own his masters, that Eminem and Dr. Dre built what 50 has, and that he himself built everything from scratch through slip and slide. 50 said Ross lives in a 2-bedroom apartment. The back and forth did exactly what it always does. It kept the whole conversation moving for longer than it might have otherwise. Meanwhile, a separate thread was developing around Floyd's business infrastructure. Reports surfaced that Floyd's planned exhibition fight in Greece had been canceled. The specific reasons were never fully confirmed publicly, but multiple outlets connected the cancellation to existing promotional agreements and contractual conflicts. Some reports suggested that previous arrangements involving potential fights with Mike Tyson and Manny Pacquiao may have conflicted with newer exhibition plans. Those details have circulated widely without being officially confirmed by anyone directly involved. The cancellation brought Al Haymon's name back into the conversation. Haymon has been Floyd's longtime business advisor and a central figure behind premier boxing champions. He is known for staying almost entirely out of the public eye, which has historically made him a subject of speculation whenever Floyd's business situation becomes news. 50 Cent, who has a pattern of surfacing in these conversations with things others are not talking about, referenced a leaked voice recording that has circulated in certain circles for years, a recording that allegedly captures a disagreement about the direction and credit behind PBC. The authenticity and full context of that recording have never been publicly verified and should not be treated as confirmed fact. But it generated renewed discussion about whether Floyd's long-term business relationships have always served his interests or complicated them. The specific allegation that has circulated is that Floyd publicly claimed more ownership over PBC's direction and success than others inside the organization felt was accurate. Whether that reflects a real internal dispute or represents commentary filtered through years of public grudges and social media speculation is genuinely unclear. What is clear is that when these discussions resurface, Floyd's name and his financial situation become impossible to separate from the broader conversation about who controls what in boxing. None of these threads, the lawsuits, the canceled Greece fight, the Al Haymon questions, the 50 Cent post, have been resolved. They exist simultaneously in the public conversation, and each one feeds the others. Here is what can be said with confidence about where Floyd actually stands. He is not broke in the way that word usually means. He has a massive public profile and commercial draw that continues generating interest. His name can still sell tickets and attract promotional partners. A fight announcement from Floyd Mayweather at 49 years old still makes news globally. But the specific pattern of legal disputes, jewelry lawsuits, IRS liens, unpaid rent, bounced checks on high-value purchases, a canceled international exhibition, is not a pattern that suggests someone in control of their financial situation. It suggests someone whose lifestyle costs and cash flow are not aligned in the way they need to be, regardless of what the theoretical value of their name and brand might be. Rick Ross sees a man who built something extraordinary through sacrifice and deserves the benefit of the doubt. 50 Cent sees an old friend making decisions that concern him, and he has communicated that concern in the most 50 Cent way possible. Publicly, sarcastically, and in a way that ensures maximum attention. The debate between those two positions is genuinely unresolved and probably will be until Floyd himself addresses it directly. He has not done that. He has kept moving. At 49 years old, he is still talking about returning to the ring, still attending events, still maintaining the public presence that has always been central to who he is. Whether the next chapter involves another exhibition fight, a major announcement, or just continued silence on the financial questions, the conversation is not going anywhere. Floyd Mayweather, Rick Ross, and 50 Cent connected to the same topic at the same time is always going to generate attention. That much is certain. Whether Ross is right that Floyd is sitting on more than people realize, or whether 50 is reading a situation that most people around Floyd are choosing not to say out loud, only time and Floyd's own next public moves will answer. Is Rick Ross right to defend Floyd? Or is 50 Cent seeing something everyone else is missing? Drop your take in the comments. Subscribe for every update as this situation develops.